Introduction. Learn French for Kids is a window into the rich and elegant culture and language of France. It is a simple guide for educators, such as parents and teachers. The book is written in a read-along style that the educator and child can enjoy together. Learn French for Kids contains clear lessons for children that focus on a range of topics, identifying alphabets and numbers, recognizing the days of the week and months of the year, identifying common objects in the living room, kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom, and building a vocabulary of French garments, brands, and fashion. It takes you through journeys where you can learn about animals and objects through popularly read French books and novels that children cherish and admire. Learn French for Kids provides the required guidance in language learning and equips children with language mechanics that enable them to express common life situations in the traditional French style. Learn French for Kids narrates the story of two best friends, one from France and the other from Britain. As you move through the story, it is easy to pick up a rich vocabulary that relates to French culture and lifestyle. The two friends take you on a journey through typical settings in the home, at the park, at the doctor, and at the shopping mall. There are numerous conversations that portray the perspectives of children. Situations described in Learn French for Kids equip children with a range of different words and phrases to be able to pick up the French language with confidence. It also introduces them to simple grammar and provides introductory notes on common expressions and verbs in the French language that they may choose to explore further. Children get the opportunity to learn popular expressions and greetings as they get absorbed in the story. This approach helps them use the language successfully in their conversation and writings. That said, the story of Alexandre and Jack goes, Alexandre smiled with joy as he read Martine and Wilbur the Donkey by Gilbert de la Haye. His mother Alice watched over his shoulder in admiration, noticing his strong French accent. Freshly baked macarons and tarte tatin awaited the arrival of Jack, their British neighbor. Jack had promised to come over for high tea. Jack always wanted to speak French fluently, just like his best friend Alexandre, and Alexandre wanted to flaunt a polished British accent whenever he read English fiction. This evening, Alexandre and Jack were about to embark on an exciting language exchange experience. Chapter 1. Tarte tatin made the French alphabet taste sweeter. Thoughts of sweet treats filled Jack as his mouth watered for the much-awaited le goûter, the refreshing French high tea. In Alexandre's home, Alice juggled with the teapot and cake stand, arranging the macarons and pouring the tea all at the same time. Tarte tatin was her special surprise for the cheerful language learners. Ting-tong! And Alexandre's eyes lit up. Jack was at the door. Alexandre flew past the couch, slid along the rug, and reached for the doorknob. Jack and Alexandre sat down as Alice served tea. It was time to learn the French alphabet while savoring tarte tatin. Alice assisted Alexandre as he pulled out a French language book from their Vigo shelf. As they settled down on the couch, Alexandre looked at the fast-vanishing tarte tatin and helped himself to the delight. His mother flipped pages to the phonetics lesson. Together, they started reading the letters. A, B, C, D, E. They look like A, B, C, D, E, remarked Jack eagerly. Alice nodded in encouragement. They continued, F, F, G, J, H, H, I, E, J, J, K, Cal, L, L, M, M, N, N, O, O, P, P, Q, Q, R, R, S, S, T, T, U, U, V, V, W, W, X, X, Y, Y, Z, Z. Jack giggled as he repeated the sounds after Alice. Y, he exclaimed. That sounds different, although it looks like the Y in English. Oui, agreed Alice. I meant yes, she added. Note to educators, oui means yes and is spelled O-U-I. Jack and Alexandre had mastered the French alphabet. It was time to delve deeper and discover what lay in store for them. Chapter Summary. Remember how to pronounce the letters of the French alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Remember common expressions in French. Oui, yes. Remembered what you learned about French culture. Macaron, French confection prepared with meringue. Meringue consists of egg whites, icing sugar, and other ingredients, all whipped to form delicate peaks. Macarons are slightly moist and develop ruffled sides on baking. Buttercream or jam is often sandwiched between two macarons before serving. Tarte tatin. Tarte tatin is a French pastry prepared with apples caramelized in sugar and butter. Fruit is caramelized before baking to achieve a delicious apple tart. Tarte tatin was an original recipe of the Tatin sisters, who first served it at their hotel. The sweet preparation is now as popular in other countries as it was in its originating country, France. Le goûter, preparations such as pastries, cakes, and crepes. The French consider le goûter a meal rather than a snack. Chapter 2. Chanting French numbers with delicious macarons. What do we have here? Asked Alexandre. Les nombres? Oui, oui. Alice nodded enthusiastically as she returned to the next chapter on the numbers. She had spent the evening the day before trying to pronounce the number names accurately so the boys could excel in the core language areas. Here she was, looking at the page once again and pondering how to start a good lesson. Alice raised her head momentarily to get the little ones familiar with numbers, but voila, Jack and Alexandre were no longer on the couch. She scanned the room curiously. Note to educators, voila is an exclamation that shows someone or something appeared suddenly. It is spelled V-O-I-L-A with grave accent. Her eyes wandered for a while. After a brief moment, she spotted them. There they were by the window, crunching away at the macaron. Alice waited until they settled down. Relishing the aftertaste, they reclined on the couch and started chanting numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3. That means 0, 1, 2, 3, mon cher garçon, Jack, explained Alice. My dear boy, Jack, she added. Note to educators, mon cher garçon means my dear boy and is spelled M-O-N-C-H-E accent grave R-E, G-A-R-C with cedilla O-N. It is a common expression to address a child with kindness or encourage him or her. The boys continued. 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10. Jack was drawn to their new book and reached out to look at the Les Nombres lesson. Almost instantly, Jack exclaimed, "Hey, look how they write the numbers. It's as if they came from space. A meteor is about to fall on zero." Alice and Alexandra instantly diverted all their attention to the number spellings. 0, 0. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10, 10. Alice knew exactly what Jack meant. She explained, "We call that meteor coming from the right the accent aigu in French. You will see more meteors coming from the left, hooks hanging from see them, we say the words differently." "Time to go," said Jack. Au revoir, Jack, said Alice and Alexandra in unison. Until we see you again, Jack. Note to educators, au revoir is a popular way to bid goodbye to someone. When you are going to see them sometime soon, it is spelled A-U-R-E-V-O-I-R. Chapter Summary. Remember how to pronounce and write numbers from 0 to 10 in French. 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10. Remember common expressions in French. Voilà, there it is, there they are. Mon cher garçon, my dear boy. Au revoir, until we see you again. Remember new words you learned in the chapter. Les nombres, the numbers. Remember what you learned about French language conventions. Accent, accents in French. Certain letters in French words have an upward or downward pointing dash, an inverted V, dots, or hooks to show you have to pronounce them differently. Chapter 3. A stroll through the boulevard, and the days of the week seemed glorious. Alexandre rubbed his eyes as the first rays of light shone on his face through the French blinds. He liked to keep the blind slats open, to allow light to fill up his room and color it a light yellow shade as he got ready for le collège. Note to educators, the French use slightly different terms to refer to the different stages in school. Although the word here is le collège, it refers to a stage in school rather than the college. In the French education system, primary school is called l'école primaire and spelled L''E accent grave COLE Middle school is called le collège and spelled LE COLLE accent grave E. Further, high school is called le lycée and spelled LELYCE accent grave E. Alexandre glanced at his organizer. Aujourd'hui, c'est le lundi 10 septembre. Today is Monday 10th September, he recollected. I need to call Jack, as promised. The kids play escargot at the park every Monday. It's loads of fun, and Jack would not want to miss the game. Jack's phone rang 4 times, and Alexandre got no answer. Alexandre tried to get over his disappointment. He continued to dress and pack his bag for le collège. Alice called for breakfast. Alexandre walked slowly to the la salle à manger, the dining room, thinking about Jack all the way to the neatly arranged, delicious meal. Everyone in the neighborhood agreed that Alice's breakfast, le petit déjeuner, made their day. Alexandre knew that lundi was the day of the tastiest pastries, crackers, jam, egg dish, cookies, and hot coffee. His mind cleared spontaneously from the warm smells of vanilla candies, freshly baked cookies, and perfectly brewed coffee. Alexandre smiled at his mother dreamily as he munched on the delectable jam toast, then the scrambled eggs, and finally the cookies. He finished with a glass of orange juice and hot coffee. Merci, ma mère, thanked Alexandre. Au revoir, he spoke gratefully as he bid her a warm farewell. A long walk to le collège lay ahead. Note to educators, the French way to say thank you is merci, spelled M-E-R-C-I. Notice how he addresses his mother, ma mère, which is spelled M-A-M-E-R-E. Another way to bid farewell in French is adieu, spelled A-D-I-E-U. This expression means goodbye and is used sparingly, as it means that the person may not be able to meet again for a long time. Alexandre enjoyed strolling along the streets of Paris. On his way to le collège, Alexandre spotted Jack crossing the road. "Jack, my friend," he called out. Jack turned and hurried towards Alexandre. "Remember l'escargot at the park today. Today is lundi," Alexandre reminded Jack. "Lundi, the first day of the week," affirmed Jack. "Yeah, and we have only mardi, mercredi, and jeudi before we get together for high tea this vendredi," said Alexandre as he patted Jack, as if cajoling him into their good memories. "Ah, oui, vendredi, the Friday, and my delightful le goûter. A vendredi I would die for, mused Jack. What are the other days again? He asked, intrigued. Alexandre felt like le professeur de français, the teacher of French language. He grabbed Jack's right hand and started the weekday count. Monday is lundi, and Tuesday is mardi. Then we have mercredi or Wednesday, and jeudi or Thursday, and vendredi is our Friday, Jack added hastily. Then he asked, What about the weekend? Saturday and Sunday? Alexandre continued, We call Saturday samedi and Sunday dimanche. Got it, chum, chuckled Jack. They repeated the names of the 5 days, starting from Monday until the weekend. Lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi, samedi, and dimanche. Then they polished it up. Lundi is back. I want to play, read, chat, and write on mardi, mercredi, and jeudi. But vendredi is just for merrymaking, while samedi and dimanche make me sleep. Elated and in high spirits, they sang together as they walked through the breathtaking boulevard. Les jours de la semaine, avec 5 jours et le week-end, très bien, très bien. Jack paused and said, Sounds great, Alexandre. Now tell me what your rhyme means. Alexandre interpreted his new poem. Jour is the word for days, and les is used like an article, the in English. Semaine is week. Now, la and les mean the same thing. We use la because we are talking about a single week, whereas we have les for many days. Ah, singular and plural, and we have 2 types of the in French? Jack asked with raised eyebrows. Oh yes, actually, we have 3 types of the in French. You will see as you enrich your French vocabulary as we go along together. Alexandre continued to decode the poem for his friend. See the word avec? It means with, and you will play with it quite often. I see, mulled Jack. I don't have to translate 5 jours now, do I? Alexandre questioned as if testing Jack. I got it, Jack replied. It means 5 days. Great job, mon ami, said Alexandre in appreciation. Jack knew instantly that mon ami meant my friend, for Alexandre had used the expression umpteen times. He chimed in quickly. I know what le weekend means. It is simply the weekend. But tell me why we have et here. Et is the word we have for and in French, Alexandre replied. How about très bien? Well, that's a popular expression in French, and it means very good. Bien is good. Perfect, exclaimed Jack. Let's sing in English and French this time, suggested Alexandre. The duo started singing gleefully. Les jours de la semaine, avec 5 jours et le week-end, très bien, très bien. The days of the week, with 5 days and the weekend, very good, very good. As the boys giggled, Alexandre's l'école stood meters away, welcoming him. Jack bid farewell in the French style he had learned earlier, and continued on his way to school. Au revoir, Alexandre. Au revoir, mon ami. Chapter Summary. Remember how to pronounce and write the days of the week in French. Lundi, Monday. Mardi, Tuesday. Mercredi, Wednesday. Jeudi, Thursday. Vendredi, Friday. Samedi, Saturday. Sunday, dimanche. Remember common expressions in French. Merci, thank you. Ma mère, my mother. Mon ami, my friend. Aujourd'hui, c'est le lundi 10 septembre. Today is Monday, 10th September. Très bien, very good. Bien, good. Adieu, goodbye. Remember your French grammar. Les, the, plural. Du, of. La, the, singular. Avec, with. Et, and. Remember new words you learned in the chapter. L'école primaire, primary school. Le collège, middle school. Le lycée, high school. Jour, days. Le weekend, the weekend. Le semaine, the week. Le professeur de français, the professor of French language. Remember your rhymes. The days of the week. Lundi is back. I want to play, read, chat, and write on mardi, mercredi, and jeudi, but vendredi is just for merrymaking, while samedi and dimanche make me sleep. The week and the weekend. Les jours de la semaine, avec 5 jours et le week-end, très bien, très bien. The days of the week with 5 days and the weekend. Very good, very good. Remember what you learned about French culture. Escargot literally means snail. However, escargot is also a hopscotch game, popular among French kids. Players draw a spiral resembling a snail. Then they mark divisions inside the snail spiral and mark numbers on it. They hop on one foot from one triangle or square to another and return to the start in the same manner. A player is disqualified if he or she switches feet before returning to the start. On completing the spiral successfully, a player gets the privilege to put his/her initials in the respective box. La salle à manger. The French dining room is an exquisite location in every home where meals are served in the traditional style. La salle à manger is painted in pastel shades and sometimes using bold highlights. French wooden furniture, curtains, and tapestry adorn the space to create the ambience of a classical French dining room. Le petit déjeuner is the French breakfast, the morning meal consisting of toast, pancakes, waffles, cereal, bacon, and eggs. The light meal is accompanied with orange juice and hot tea or coffee. Boulevard, a paved street with trees, glass, and flowers flanking it. Chapter 4, Mercredi, and an Unforgettable Tale. Mercredi 12 septembre marked an unforgettable day for Jack. That morning Jack woke up late and could not get ready for school in time. Jack's mother Charlotte wondered if all was well. She suggested they go for a visit to le Docteur Gavin. Dr. Gavin was the most competent pediatrician on Champs-Élysées, where Jack's family had been living for the past 2 years. Charlotte's husband George was an engineer and had signed a 3-year-long contract with a company in Paris. Charlotte and George attended French language classes and adopted a French lifestyle to help Jack learn French and appreciate French culture during their 3-year stay in Paris. Jack felt feverish and dilly-dallied to his bedroom. He pulled out le cartable and reached for the le carambar. Jack had a sweet tooth and could not give up on the caramel treat in spite of Charlotte's coaxing and cajoling. Jack dwelled on self-talk for only a brief period about the flap of a wing or the swing of the pendulum. Moments later, the carambar found its way home. Charlotte was about to doze off in la chambre à coucher when she heard something unexpected. Mom, Jack wailed. Charlotte headed for his room. Oh, my God! We need to see un dentiste, not un médecin, she remarked. Note to educators. The words docteur and médecin refer to doctor. Un médecin means a doctor and is used when talking about a doctor in general. Un médecin does not make a reference to a specific doctor's name. However, when referring to a particular doctor by name, or when addressing him or her, le docteur is used. It may also be abbreviated as Dr. Dr. Deville, he's the right person. Let's run along, she told Jack. Jack followed suit. Dr. Deville was great with kids. He amused them with his humor and rhymes, although giving them sweet treats was not particularly his style. Dr. Deville greeted Jack as if he was a grown-up, and Jack reciprocated the greeting. Bonjour, Monsieur Jack. Bonjour, Dr. Deville. The gentlemen smiled at each other and nodded as if expressing agreement before the start of a critical venture. Note to educators. Bonjour is a common greeting in France and means good day. Furthermore, Monsieur is a respectful way to address a gentleman in France. It is like saying Sir or Mr. in English. Je m'appelle Dr. Deville, said Dr. Deville. Seeing Jack's questioning look, Charlotte explained, Dr. Deville is telling you his name. He calls himself Dr. Deville. Note to educators, Je m'appelle is a popular way to introduce yourself in France. It literally means I call myself, followed by your name. However, a common translation of Je m'appelle is my name is. Come on, my good child, lie down here, the dentist told Jack. Ouvrez la bouche, he added. Open your mouth, explained Charlotte. What is the problem? Et un carie? Dr. Deville inquired. Looks like a cavity, monsieur, agreed Charlotte. Note to educators, un and une are articles in French, used for indefinite nouns. They are equivalent to the article a in English. French has two articles for indefinite nouns because French nouns have genders. Not only people but things may also be either male or female. For example, chair is a feminine noun, and desk is a masculine noun. Therefore, the right way to say a chair is une chaise, while a desk is un bureau in French. Dr. Deville continued to explain, in autumn, we have the most patients with dental caries. I am surprised by the number of children I get to see during this season. I am not sure why this could happen. It could be the treats and snacks at the Kids Expo. Kids stay up late, munch on candy, play, and have fun, but most of them forget to brush their teeth. Oh, I see, nodded Charlotte. Dr. Deville straightened his collar and stretched his gloves as he wiggled his fingers in to get a good grip. Jack recognized the poem Dr. Deville had started humming, Raymond Richard's Le Bel Automne est revenu. The doctor sang, À pas menu, menu, Le Bel Automne est revenu. Dr. Deville tugged a piece of cotton into Jack's tooth as he continued the poem, but with a twist. En joyeux septembre, en riant octobre, en excité novembre, et calme décembre. Charlotte's smile broke into a grin. She tried hard to suppress a giggle. Jack also knew quite well that Dr. Deville had added his own verse, along with Raymond Richard's famous poem, to cheer him up. Dr. Deville made him feel as if the autumn months were so happy when people laughed and they were excited. December had a calm disposition when autumn was about to leave and winter about to set in. And that's what he intended. When he hummed Richard's words, he hummed, Beautiful autumn's back, on slender feet with the slightest of steps, comes autumn back again. Then he switched gears, and happy September, and laughing October, and excited November, and calm December. The months sound so much like English. Jack could easily make out the French accent. Dr. Deville paused and smiled at Jack. How do you like it? He asked. Jack nodded approvingly with his mouth open, and Dr. Deville's paraphernalia inside it. Dr. Deville was almost finishing up with his job. The cavity was treated et un plombage applied firmly. Jack felt much better now as the filling soothed his tooth. Dr. Deville handed Charlotte a prescription and patted Jack on his back. They bid adieu and left. On their way home, Charlotte and Jack strolled on Champs-Élysées. Jack tried not to think of his toothache. Somehow it seemed to worsen. He diverted his attention, trying to make sense of the geometry on Arc de Triomphe. Jack recollected Dr. Deville's autumn song. What are the winter months, Mum? Janvier and Février, Charlotte replied. How about spring? Jack asked. Spring lasts through Mars, Avril, and May, clarified Charlotte. So, how long does summer last? Questioned Jack almost immediately. Summer lasts as long as Juin, Juillet, and Août, was Charlotte's reply. Très bien, said Jack. These are the months of the year, Charlotte smiled as she spoke. Call them les mois de l'année. Jack occupied himself with the months of the year and the 4 seasons. He did not want to think of the tooth adventure, now that it had ended quite well, all thanks to Dr. Deville. So mother and son continued on their way back, humming Richard. Le bel automne est revenu. Chapter summary. Remember how to pronounce and write months of the year in French. Les mois de l'année, the months of the year. Janvier, January. Février, February. Mars, March. Avril, April. Mai, May. Juin, June. Juillet, July. Août, August. Septembre, September. Octobre, October. Novembre, November. Décembre, December. Remember common expressions in French. Bonjour, hello. Monsieur, Mr., or Sir. Je m'appelle, I call myself, my name is. Ouvrez la bouche, open the mouth. Remember new words you learned in the chapter. Les saisons, the seasons. Le docteur, the doctor. une carie, a cavity, un plombage, a filling, le cartable, the school bag, la chambre à coucher, the bedroom, un dentiste, a dentist, un médecin, a doctor. Remember what you learned about French grammar, and, un, a, masculine, une, a, feminine. Remember your rhymes. A couplet from Robert Richard's La Belle Automne est revenue. À pas menu, le bel automne est revenu. On slender feet, with the slightest of steps, comes autumn back again. Dr. DeVille's verse, En joyeux septembre, en riant octobre, en excité novembre, et calme décembre. And happy September, and laughing October, and excited November, and calm December. Remember what you learned about French culture. Champs-Élysées. Champs-Élysées is an avenue in Paris that extends between the famous Arc de Triomphe and Place de la Concorde. It is one of the most well-known commercial streets in the world, and a must-visit location for tourists traveling to France. Arc de Triomphe. The Arc de Triomphe is a historical monument in Paris. It is situated on the western end of the Champs-Élysées Avenue. Arc de Triomphe was built in 1806 by Napoleon I, following his success at the Battle of Austerlitz in 1805. It marks a significant achievement of the French army. Raymond Richard. Raymond Richard is a famous French poet. Carambar. Carambar is a popular chewy candy from France, considered a part of French heritage. Augustin Galois and Georges Fauchil invented the candy that later became popular because of the humorous jokes printed on the reverse side of its wrapper. Author's Notes 2. Hey, it's Pro-Language Learning. As mentioned at the start of this audiobook, you have an exclusive offer available to you for a short period of time. In case you forgot to claim your 100% free, no-strings-attached copy of Master Any Language by Audio Elevate, please can you make sure to do so now? The reason for this is, in the next coming chapters, I will be discussing and referring back to parts of the book, which Audio Elevate has created for you to improve your fundamentals when learning a new language. It will be pivotal to have this book available at all times when learning a language, as it will help you learn quickly and effectively. In case you forgot how to claim your free copy of Master Any Language, is either click below or type in on your search browser's URL free.audioelevate.com. Remember, before listening any further, please do this now, as I will refer back to parts of Master Any Language throughout this audiobook. free.audioelevate.com. Chapter 5. Le goûter avec père, an evening to remember. Victor, viens ici, s'il vous plaît, called out Alice. Victor, come here, please, she repeated when 10 minutes had passed, and her husband had not turned up. Alice and her husband Victor had agreed to prepare a nutritious le goûter this vendredi. Although sweet was the le goûter style in France, they decided to add a British touch to the high tea by incorporating something salty and nutritious for the children. Alice had planned a sumptuous menu: salade niçoise, toasted almonds, mousse au chocolat, and French press coffee. Victor finally arrived. The most delightful smells emanated from la cuisine. Victor headed for the counter strewn with vegetables, anchovy, and several tins of tuna. He decided to prepare vegetables, eggs, and tuna for salade niçoise. Victor grabbed the tomatoes and cut them lengthwise. Then he cut the eggs in quarters. Alice passed him the blanched and cut beans, and Victor got to work. Beans flanked the sides, and eggs lay along the boundary of the platter. Tomatoes, vegetables, tuna, and olives formed a colorful orchestra. Alice was finishing up with the smoothest mousse au chocolat, and the toasted almonds were done to perfection. Alice and Victor were awaiting the arrival of Jack and Alexandre for the next exciting lesson. Today Victor was on board, and there was a little twist in the learning experience. Victor and Alice had adopted a franglais style in their conversation. It helped Alexandre do well with anglais in school. Jack is a quick learner, said Alice. How about showing him around the house today? La salon, la chambre, la cuisine, la salle de bain? Très certainement, agreed Victor. Note to educators. There are many ways to show agreement or approval in French. Saying très certainement, that is spelled T-R-E, accent grave, C-E-R-T-A-I-N-E-M-E-N-T, shows strong agreement. It literally means most certainly. Ting-tong, the doorbell called out. Victor straightened his crisp, long white sleeves and buttoned up his shirt. He headed for the door, expecting Alexandre and Jack after soccer. Bienvenue, welcome, he said as he opened the door wide. Note to educators, bienvenue, spelled B-I-E-N-V-E-N-U, is a way to welcome someone. Comment allez-vous, Jack? He asked, then turned to his son and inquired, Et comment allez-vous, Alexandre? Note to educators, in French, comment allez-vous is a way to ask, how are you? It literally means, how do you go? Alexandre was quick to discern Jack's curiosity when the latter heard something and did not quite understand it. Père wants to know how you are doing and how I am doing. You know, the usual greeting. Ah, Jack smiled. I'm fine, monsieur. Je vais bien. That's how we reply in French, Alexandre chimed in. Note to educators, the usual reply to comment allez-vous is je vais bien. It means I am fine or I am good. Let's see what we have for le goûter today, said Victor, as they headed for the kitchen. Jack and Alexandre were captivated by the blend of aromas. Victor drew their attention to salade niçoise. You see what we have on table de cuisine today? A delicious salade niçoise. Jack glanced at the stacked vegetables. He stared at the quartered eggs and felt as if the earth had been split open. Cut tomatoes looked like chunks of red-hot rock from the magma that spilled from the earth's core. Victor tugged at Jack, drawing his attention. Ready to learn more new French words, son? Come on, let's see what we have in la cuisine, the kitchen. Here we have un réfrigérateur, un grille-pain, et un four, et un mixeur, Victor explained. Alexandre was quick to add, we wash the dishes in the un lave-vaisselle, but sometimes we use un évier, and water flows from un robinet. Then we dry the dishes on un égouttoir. Jack headed to the dish rack to get a closer look. Victor followed and took the opportunity to enrich Jack's vocabulary further. See here, mon cher garçon. We have une assiette, un bol, un cuillère, une fourchette, et un couteau. Then he shifted Jack's attention to the table de cuisine and added, Look, here we have une poêle à frire, une casserole, and there we have un bouilloire. What about planche à découper, mon père? Asked Alexandre. We call the cutting board planche à découper, replied Victor. Note to educators, père refers to dad in French. Note the use of mon père in Alexandre's question. He means my father here. Mon père means my father. Recollect from Chapter 3 that the way to say my mother in French is ma mère, spelled M-A-M-E accent grave R-E. Victor then walked the kids around the la salon, the living room, la chambre à coucher, the bedroom, and la salle de bain, the bathroom. Jack felt his head spinning from the vocabulary he was trying to absorb. Exploring le goûter made more sense. Finally, the father and the two boys settled for a splendid time together with salade niçoise, mousse au chocolat, amande grillée, and café presse française. Chapter summary. Remember common expressions in French. Viens ici, s'il vous plaît. Come here, please. Très certainement. Most certainly. Bienvenue. Welcome. Comment allez-vous? How do you go, literally? How are you? Je vais bien. I am fine. Remember new words you learned in the chapter. Franglais. Franglais is the use of both English and French by blending the two languages. Franglais is commonly apparent when French speakers choose to make excessive use of the English language in their speech. Anglais, English. Père, father. La cuisine, kitchen. La salon, living room. La chambre, bedroom, le salle de bain, bathroom, table de cuisine, kitchen table, un réfrigérateur, a refrigerator, un grille-pain, a toaster, un four, an oven, un mixeur, a blender, un lave-vaisselle, a dishwasher, un évier, a sink, un robinet, a tap, un égouttoir, a drying rack for utensils, une assiette, a plate, un bol, a bowl, une cuillère, a spoon, une fourchette, a fork, un couteau, a knife, une poêle à frire, a drying pan, une casserole, a saucepan, une bouilloire, a kettle, planche à découper, a cutting board. Remember what you learned about French culture? Salade niçoise. Niçoise salad is a popular French preparation made from tuna, ripe tomatoes, eggs, anchovies, olives, and fresh vegetables, cooked and raw. A salad dressing is often added later. Niçoise salad is a nutritious preparation with the goodness of protein, vitamins, and minerals. Mousse au chocolat. French chocolate mousse is prepared with the best quality dark chocolate, large eggs, butter, sugar, and salt. Melted chocolate and butter is folded into whipped egg whites. Egg yolks and chocolate is added later to achieve a weightless mousse. French chocolate mousse is relished with a range of accompaniments, and it is often a popular addition to the Le Goûter menu. Amandes grillées, roasted almonds, are a common entry in most menus in France where nuts are a favorite snack. Café presse française, French press coffee, is coffee made using a manual brew method. A French press coffee maker is used for the purpose. To ensure that the best coffee taste is achieved, coffee beans are ground uniformly and coarsely. Coffee grounds are added to steeping hot water and pressed to the bottom of the container to attain a fantastic taste. Chapter 6, Dimanche, and the exciting shopping experience. Come dimanche, and it was time to shop at Le Magasin de Vêtements. Alice, Charlotte, and the boys were going in Alice's car, driving all the way across Champs-Élysées and beyond to visit their favorite clothing store. Alice agreed to play le conducteur, and Charlotte, Jack, and Alexandre got in the back seat of la voiture. They set off on their shopping spree. Jack's eyes fixated from one object to another as he window-shopped the stores on Champs-Élysées and beyond. Sephora, Carrefour, Darty, Picard, Chloé, he pondered as he rapidly scanned the signboards. Le Magasin de Vêtements was finally in sight, and Alice slowed down. She parked the car, and they all took the store entrance that read Ouvert. Note to educators, shops usually display signs to indicate whether they are open or closed. The Ouvert sign indicates that a store is open. Sometimes stores may display Ouvert Bienvenue to welcome their customers. On the other hand, a Fermé sign indicates that a shop is closed. Les Vêtements formed a colorful rainbow along the aisles. On the right, a sign read, Promotion de fin de saison. Note to educators, Promotion de fin de saison is the promotional sale when a season ends. We've come to the right place. It's the end-of-season sale, said Charlotte. I have les chaussettes and les chaussures at the top of my list. Jack names them every now and then. Don't you need les baskets along with the socks and shoes? Soccer sessions start next week. The boys are better off with a pair of sneakers, suggested Alice. Oh, yes. I never realized. Thanks for reminding me. Merci beaucoup, replied Charlotte. Note to educators, merci beaucoup is a common way to say thank you very much in French. What else? Alice racked her brains. Then she remembered something. I need to pick up un smoking and une cravate for Victor. He told me he would also like un pantalon and une chemise. Victor prefers the latest style at his next office meeting on jeudi. Ah, Thursday will be busy for me too. George has invited his manager for le dîner. I'm going to pick up un chemisier and une jupe for myself for the evening. Charlotte agreed. Curiosity got the better of the two children as they meandered their way through racks of clothing displayed all across the store. Alexandre examined les vestes and les manteaux. Jackets and coats were always appealing and invariably swept him away. A few feet away, Jack stopped to inspect the array of les t-shirts and les shorts. Charlotte and Alice walked up to the boys and signaled Jack and Alexandre to follow them to the cash counter. "Bonjour," Alice greeted the cashier. "Bonjour, madame," he replied. Note to educators: Bonjour, madame is a common greeting in France and means good day, madam. To address a gentleman, you say Bonjour, monsieur. Further, to address a girl, you say Bonjour, mademoiselle. C'est combien? She asked, as the cashier held un pantalon and flipped the tag to see the barcode. 99 euros, madame. 99 euros, madame. C'est trop cher, she exclaimed, as the pants seemed too expensive. Note to educators: C'est is frequently encountered in the French language. It translates to this is or it is. Alice lay it aside and signaled the cashier to continue with the rest of les vêtements. Charlotte felt refreshed. It was her ultimate escape from the daily chores. C'est très élégant, she spoke with delight as she caressed le jupe. The cashier finished with the rest of the clothes and handed Charlotte and Alice their bills. Merci, au revoir, Alice told the cashier. Bonne journée, said Charlotte, wishing him a nice day ahead. Chapter Summary. Remember common expressions in French: ouvert, open; fermé, closed. Promotion de fin de saison, promotional sale at the end of a season. Merci beaucoup, thank you very much. Bonjour, madame, good day, madam. C'est combien? How much is this? How much is it? 99 euros, madame. 99 euros, madam. C'est trop cher. This is very expensive. It is very expensive. C'est très élégant. This is very elegant. It is very elegant. Bonne journée. Have a good day. Have a nice day. Remember new words you learned in the chapter: le magasin de vêtements, the clothes store; le conducteur, the driver; la voiture, the car; le dîner, the dinner; les chaussettes, the socks; les chaussures, the shoes; les baskets, the sneakers; un smoking, a tuxedo; une cravate, a tie; un pantalon, a trouser; une chemise, a shirt; un chemisier, a shirt; un jupe, a skirt; les vestes, the jackets; les manteaux, the coats; les t-shirts, the t-shirts; les shorts, the shorts. Remember what you learned about French brands. Sephora. Sephora is a famous French brand that sells personal care and beauty products. It has more than 3,000 brands. Carrefour. Carrefour is a popular French retail market chain with more than 12,000 stores spread across 30 countries. Darty, a French electrical retail market. Picard. Picard Surgelés is a retail company that specializes in frozen foods. It has more than 900 stores across France. Chloé. Chloé is a French luxury fashion brand for women. Chapter 7. Wilbur and friends teach Alexandre to read anglais. 6 months had passed swiftly. It was le printemps, le mois de mars. Playtime was most enjoyable for Alexandre, Jack, and the other kids at the park. It was a special evening. Jack and Alexandre were going to read Alexandre's favorite book together in anglais, Martine and Wilbur the Donkey, by Gilbert de la Haye and Marcel Marlier. Alexandre stretched his legs under an apple tree, reclining against the trunk, with the book spread out on his lap. Jack sat next to him, looking at old Mr. Ted, Martine, and her brother, on the first page of the storybook. C'est l'âne, remarked Alexandre, pointing at the donkey. They read all about Martine and her family, their neighbor, old Mr. Ted, Wilbur his donkey, and the farm animals. As Alexandre and Jack accompanied Martine and Wilbur to the farm, a fascinated Alexandre started pointing at the lively animals. Look at le chat, le mouton, Nancy, la chèvre, et le chien, as he pointed at the cat, the sheep, Nancy the goat, and the dog in the storybook. Oh my, said Alexandra. "Poor Wilbur! La Guêpe got the better of him." "Oh, no, the wasp got Martine and Wilbur in trouble," exclaimed Jack. They read all about Wilbur's adventures and how Wilbur promised not to sulk before reuniting with old Mr. Ted. The boys felt elated on seeing Wilbur bow to la poule, the chicken, le canard, the duck, and le coq, the rooster. Wilbur was, in fact, the happiest donkey, as told by Delahaye. Chapter Summary. Remember new words you learned in the chapter: le printemps, the spring; le mois de mars, the month of March; l'âne, the donkey; le chat, the cat; le mouton, the sheep; la chèvre, the goat; le chien, the dog; la guêpe, the wasp; la poule, the hen; le canard, the duck; le coq, the rooster. Chapter 8. Cleaning Day. La chambre à coucher shines away to glory. Every mardi, Alexandra and Jack had to tidy their rooms and check school supplies. After school, they would dust, mop, and wipe every nook and corner of la chambre à coucher until it was spick and span. Jack started with le plafond and then checked each one of les murs to make sure the ceiling and each of the walls were clean. Then he would open le penderie, the closet, hang his coat on le cintre, the hanger, and clean up the mess. A few meters away, Alexandre, in his home, tidied le lit, the bed, l'oreiller, the pillow, and les drapés, the sheets. As he wiped the tables, he caught la lampe, the lamp, and steadied it. Satisfied with the fantastic job, Alexandra called Jack over to check their homework and school supplies together. They often felt embarrassed when le manuel ou la trousse was missing from le cartable. A missing textbook or pencil case from the bag meant l'éducateur, the teacher, would be cross. A fâché éducateur was their most dreadful encounter. They made sure le manuel was properly opened up and placed on le bureau in la salle de classe. If there was anything their teacher took pride in, it was a properly opened-up textbook placed on the desk in the class. Jack and Alexandra completed their school checklist and headed for the park. Martine takes the train was their next rendezvous in the park. It was an appointment they would never like to forego. Note to educators, rendezvous is the French word for appointment. Chapter Summary. Remember new words you learned in the chapter: la chambre à coucher, the bedroom; le plafond, the ceiling; le mur, the wall; le penderie, the wardrobe; le cintre, the hanger; le lit, the bed; l'oreiller, the pillow; la lampe, the lamp; le manuel, the manual; la trousse, the pencil case; le cartable, the school bag; l'éducateur, the teacher; fâché éducateur, angry teacher; le bureau, the desk; la salle de classe, classroom; rendezvous, appointment. Chapter 9. Rendezvous avec le Petit Prince, a journey into space. As Jack got down from le bus, the bus, thoughts of reading time with Alexandre filled him with delight. Je suis content aujourd'hui, he thought in French, for he was happy. The best friends were about to read Le Petit Prince together. The Little Prince was one of his favorite tales, but he had heard it only briefly. He could not wait to get to the last page of the book. He dropped la cartable on le lit and headed to the bathroom, la salle de bain. Jack took a quick shower, dried himself with towels, and opened a bathroom cabinet while looking in the mirror. He didn't particularly like the bathtub after school. A quick shower was just the right thing to freshen him for the rendezvous at the park. Just then, he noticed his mum's new strategy to teach him French words. He found himself in the midst of a labeled bathroom. The bathroom looked the same, only beautifully decorated with French words for every object. Jack read the note stuck to the mirror, en miroir. Then he looked at the cabinet and read, un cabinet de toilette, admiring the transition of the T in his impeccable French accent. The bathtub read, un baignoire, and the bath mat was labeled, un tapis de bain. Just beside the exhaust fan in the bathroom, Jack spotted a label with the words, une bouche d'aération. Mum had even labeled towels with a waterproof marker, les serviettes. Jack returned to turn off the water running from the shower. Feeling guilty about his carelessness, do not waste water, he said to himself. Then he tried to make out what his mum wrote on the shower. It was une cabine de douche. A few minutes later, Jack was ready for the reading adventure. He found Alexandre with Le Petit Prince. Excited about the adventure about to unfold, he settled down. Alexandre started to read the book. The cover page read, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, The Little Prince. As they delved into the chapters, page after page, the boys grew as curious as the author to find out where Le Petit Prince hailed from. They decided that he probably came from asteroid B612 in Chapter 4. Un astéroïde, Alexandre marveled. Journeys into space always intrigued him. I wish my home was un astéroïde, un météore, ou une comète, he admitted. Gazing at le ciel, the sky, Alexandre said softly, What must lie far away in the depths of espace? Un univers? Ou une galaxie? No, the space out there does not have a universe or a galaxy. It's where planets keep circling the sun all the time. It seems they take oval paths around the sun, sometimes closer and sometimes farther away from the sun, clarified Jack. Oh, how beautiful, the soleil in the center, and une planète going round and round, Jack thought. And how splendid the sunset and sunrise in the spring season. Le coucher de soleil et le lever de soleil dans la saison printemps, said Alexandre, poetically describing the sunrise and sunset of the spring season. La Terre est une planète, Jack, stated Alexandre. Yes, I know. The Earth is a planet. How amazing, affirmed Jack. Note to educators. Et, spelled E-S-T, is a form of the être verb, the most important and frequently used verb in French. Et is simply translated as is. The way to pronounce être is être. Although you will seldom come across the pure form of être, it is widely used in sentences and phrases when one wants to say is, are, am, and the like. Oui, the Earth is a planet, affirmed Jack. Jack went on about the wonders of le ciel. I often gaze at the moon and stars at night. I spend hours counting stars in the night sky. By the way, what do we call the moon and star in Francais? The moon is la lune, and a star is called une étoile, Alexandre responded. They attempted to return to the book, but the magnificent spring sunset drew them into its golden rays. Alexandre and Jack watched in amazement all the way until le soleil disappeared below the horizon. Chapter Summary. Remember common expressions in French. Je suis content aujourd'hui. I am happy today. Le coucher de soleil et le lever de soleil dans la saison printemps. The sunset and sunrise in the spring season. La Terre est une planète. The Earth is a planet. Remember new words you learned in the chapter. Le bus, the bus. Un miroir, a mirror. Un cabinet de toilette, a bathroom. Une baignoire, a bathtub. Un tapis de bain, a bath mat. Une bouche d'aération, an air vent. Les serviettes, towels. Une cabine de douche, a shower cabin. Un astéroïde, an asteroid. Un météore, a meteor. Ou une comète, a comet. Le ciel, the sky. Espace, space. Un univers, a universe. Une galaxie, a galaxy. Le soleil, the sun. Une planète, a planet. La lune, the moon. Une étoile, the star. Remember your French grammar. Dans, in. Ou, or. Remember what you learned about French culture. Le Petit Prince. Le Petit Prince, or The Little Prince, by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, is a story narrated by the author about a young prince who travels through space, visiting different planets, including the Earth. It is here that he meets Saint-Exupéry. In his novella, the author presents a descriptive account of several themes, such as friendship, loss, loneliness, and love. The story revolves around the way grown-ups perceive the world and how their choices and preferences differ from the unique perspectives of children.